Hello YouTube. Today I've just had my first day of sexual education. And what I want to cover about this chat is that this is like totally one of the most like jump scare things that have like happened to me before. Alright, this everybody was in the room. We were not separated by like male or female at all. Everybody was in the room together. I know chat there were definitely some of the boys absolutely like laughing the heck off. What's absolutely crazy about this chat is the teacher was like she was just like directly hauling all of the information. She even showed us some graphic pictures. This is indeed part of sexual ed chat. I was like cringing so hard, but let's just say chat that you guys don't want to see that. Obviously, we've all been through our sexual ed before. But what I want to go ahead and cover now, we're gonna take like 10 minutes to look. And there's one interesting book that I want to cover. This one's talking about the book that I'm covering now. We call this the Positive Prevention Plus Handbook. And we're gonna go ahead and open. So as you guys can see, this is indeed part of a meta-analysis episode since I do want to cover on one situation that I want to see. Well, let's go ahead and look at it. Alright, so number one, got all of these pages right here. We got number one, group agreements, sexual health, all of this stuff, all this base stuff right here. Let me go ahead and put all of this. Obviously, some basic stuff I'd expect in a sexual education book. But let's go ahead and keep on going because I want to go to like 26. Let's keep on going right now. Gonna go ahead and skip down on this page. Obviously, child been given all of the basic stuff as part of my sexual education. Obviously, this one says according to national surveys, less than half of all US teens have ever had this before. I mean, this one really depends on the statistic. Apparently, this one said false, so I just put it in false. But as you can guys see right here, obviously this is all the basic stuff, you know. Alright, all of the pre-tests, like everybody knows this, antiretroviral therapy. But I want to cover on one certain space, alright? If I can look back at the what was table of contents? This was talking about I we are supposed to cover on what do you call this? PG 26, 27. There was one more. This was talking about, oh yeah, page 26, 27, 35. I think that's really it. And also 39 chat, because you guys might want to see that too. 39. I'm definitely show you guys some details of this. It's really good. Really, because chat, I do want to preserve the integrity of this channel just a little bit. So we're gonna go ahead and hit to page 26 and 27. Oh, you guys do not need to see that at all. No. 6. And just for the all the basic stuff that we're being given since there it is right here. This one's talking about this one. That's like super obvious, but this one here is definitely something that I do want to cover on. This one's saying gender is the attitudes, feelings, characteristics, and behaviors that a given culture associates with being male or female that are labeled as masculine or feminine. Related terms include gender role, gender nonconformity, gender identity, cisgender, transgender, gender expression, gender binaries, and gender expansive. What I want to do to this chat is that I'm going to go ahead and pause this one. We're going to head back and jump cut this one. We're going to go ahead and put this one onto ChatGPT because this is actually one of the most controversial things that I've seen before. This is hotly debated on the internet. Just to confirm that, let's go ahead and is the idea is basically saying this in this book. Is the idea that you just saying this right here is the oh my is the idea that gender meaning attitudes, feelings, characteristics, and behaviors that are in a given culture associates with being male, female, masculine, feminine, and feminine, and with related terms. But we're going to say what makes this hotly debated on the internet, especially especially given in sex ed books to teens, regardless of what it is. Person, what makes this issue highly controversial between nonconformists, conservatives, and independents, people in between. Let's go ahead and copy this one's ChatGPT, y'all. I just want to confirm this one. It says yes, you're touch. Oh my, I'm just taking up the entire thing. Okay, now yes, you're touching on the. I'm sorry, chat, that this my face was blocked. I didn't even realize that, but this one says yes, you're blocked touching on the concept of gender, which refers to the socially constructed roles, behaviors, and expressions, and identities that a given culture associates with being this and that. Obviously, male and female. Now, here's why this topic becomes highly controversial in contexts like sex education for teens and public debate. As you guys have seen before, as I've said it in the book, gender, according to the not study, the book means attitudes, feelings, characteristics that a culture associates with this. Now, here's according to GPT why the con is highly controversial. Nonconformists and progressives argue that gender is a spectrum, not a binary. They promote recognition of identities such as non binary, genderqueer, transgender, and the push for inclusive language and curricula that reflect these realities. Conservatives and many traditionalists, on the other hand, see gender roles closely tied to biological sex and worry that teaching gender fluidity to teens undermines clear, stable concepts of male female and can confuse young people. Independents and moderates also fall somewhere in between, supporting tolerance but wary of the extremes of perceived indoctrination in schools. Parental rights versus public education. This one also applies to me to a small extent, even though my parents don't really care that much. Some parents, with conservatives and independents, believe that when and how kids should learn about these complex ideas, uh, like gender identity should not be taught early. It should be taught up to them. This fuels debates over curriculum transparency, opting out rights, and state control of education. Moral and religious worldviews. For many conservatives and religious groups, gender roles and identities are seen as part of natural law or divine design, so gender nonconformity challenge deep-seated beliefs. Progressives often frame gender diversity as a civil rights issue, pushing back against any framing that they see as exclusionary, harmful, or invading to trans and non-binary people. Disagreements spill into areas such as pronoun usage, sports participation, restroom access, legal documents, and workplace discrimination. Conservatives fear that kids being socially engineered to adopt radical views on gender, a fear kids. Alright. Progressives fear erasure, or simply because of erasing discrimination and violence if institutions do not recognize diversity. The internet amplifies it all. Social media platforms reward outrage and hot takes, push people into hot takes and echo chambers, and allow misinformation such as exaggerations to spread fast. This polarizes the conversation even further, something that we are absolutely highly against. It's controversial because gender intersects identity, biology, morality, politics, law, and education. And different groups weigh these pieces differently, with deep emotional stakes on all sides. I do not want a visual chart ChatGPT, but thank you. Alright? I do not need more info. Just gotta say thank you, y'all. I mean, everyone's gotta say that. But let's go ahead and make this camera a little bit bigger. And then let's go ahead and head back onto the primary footage. This right here, what I wanted to raise with this is that something like this, chat, highly controversial. I get it, but highly controversial. Obviously, this one, gender identity, sexual orientation, biological sex. This one here I already know, but this one here, these two are highly controversial. That's why I say some stuff like that. The reason this video is even here at all is we need to raise more awareness about such an issue, even though it might polarize me more. But let's go ahead and keep on going. Obviously, chat, the basic stuff. Yes means yes. Affirmative consent team, especially for something like this. The absence of no can no longer be interpreted as a yes. Consent given by an impaired partner does not qualify as a yes. I can definitely agree on something like that. Obviously, pretty simple right here, chat. If you guys are going through something, y'all can go ahead and call this number right here. Nothing wrong, y'all. But let's go ahead and keep on going. Now, I want to cover this one too. Let's go ahead and read through the dating bill rights.
This one says, I have the right to trust myself above all others. Next one says, I have the right to be respected by anyone I date. Actually, let me pause real quick. It's the dating bill of rights. Simple. I have the right to be respected by anyone I date. That is absolutely true. I have the right to refuse to date anyone. True. I have the right to be safe on a date. That is absolutely true. I have the right to be assertive on a date. That's true. I have the right to pay my to be happy with myself, with or without a partner in my life. I can absolutely agree on that. Next one is I have the right to use my own transportation. Obviously, I can definitely to leave my house no, any during any situation. My instincts tell me to leave. This one chat needs to be a little bit more nuanced, but it does really depend. I have the right, yes. Obviously, this is like self defense. I have the right to be in a healthy relationship, yes. I have the right to be loved. I think for me, chat, let's say that we're lacking in this one a little bit, but nonetheless, this is still right. I have the right to be cared. Yeah, about that too, but I mean, still right. I have the right to have good self-esteem. Yes, yes, yes. Then I have the right to speak up when my rights are being violated. Obviously, very, very true. Write your own. What should I write here? I wonder what I actually should write down here. I have the and I have rights. Let me just put it as that. And I have rights. Close out. I do also write cursive, chap. I'm not really doing that right now. Let's go ahead and keep on going. Uh, Ground rules for, I think this is basic stuff. Again, this one here tends to be pretty controversial. As I said, students should take the following into consideration before posting to social media sites. Be cautious with identifying information. Virtually anyone with an email address can access your information. It is unwise to post the following information. Full date of birth, there is no reason for me to do that. And my SSN, girl, there is absolutely no reason for me to be go to a freaking YouTube video and say, oh my god, chat, he's my SSN, y'all. He's my SSN. No way I'm gonna say that. Address, phone numbers, class schedules, obviously yes. But ain't no way I'm just going into like a video. I'm gonna say, here chat, here's my credit card. Check each site's privacy settings, obviously yes. Once you post the information, it becomes property of the website. I think this one needs to be a little bit more nuanced because it really depends on the type of website. It really depends. Be aware that college admissions officers and potential future employers will often access the information that you place on media sites. You can protect yourself by maintaining an online self image they can be proud of years from now. Okay, chat. The key issue that I have with number two, y'all, the really big key issue that I have is that sometimes it's important to have like criticism. The thing is, chat, it's always this thing here is telling you to always maintain a good online self image. It's always telling you to maintain a carefully curated self image. But the problem I raise with that chat is that if you want to become a good person, if you want to become like an influencer, you have to you have to go through the criticism. Sometimes, controversially speaking, you do have to put yourselves in the hands of bad people. It's not to look for terribleness. It's about accepting that sometimes there will be people who will criticize on you. There will be a comment section where people will absolutely criticize the heck out of you. But ultimately, chap, criticism is a part of the learning process. Some employers may look at it as terrible, but I see it if you turn at it in a good way. I see it as a form of growth. It's important that such a self-image sometimes does go under some sort of criticism because it prompts self-growth. It prompts self-reflection. I like to put my self-image online as some sort of authentic personality, authenticity, and not like a fake persona. But a fake persona or authentic or not, you do need to learn and be able to handle criticism because that is something that you can truly be proud of for years from now. It's called resilience. A lot of people have been teaching online about this stuff. That's the only thing that I have about this is that it definitely lacks a little bit of nuance, but it really depends. Let's keep on going. Be careful when responding to unsolicited emails. I think we already know this is like really basic stuff. Don't have a false sense of security about your rights of freedom of speech. Obviously, chat, yes, this is simple stuff. We already know this. my photos become property of the social media site. It really depends on the social media site once again, chat, because it does need to be a little bit more nuanced, but I get what they're saying. Users should always be sensitive about how others might perceive their profile and posts. Obviously, chat, we have that thing called empathy, so we always have that. I care about people. I try my best to care about people, so we got six on my, or not six on. We got six on lock right now. So when posting online, students should avoid derogatory language, of course. Demeaning statements, of course. Posting information pertaining to illegal acts, I don't do that. Incriminating photos, no. Creating serious danger to the safety of, no. No, no, no. Students are encouraged to report illegal, obviously, yes. This is all like basic stuff. But as I said, I've been skipping about on what I wanted to do. I really wanted to cover this one right here. This one's talking about pressure situation one. I want to cover this. This is part of the meta episode. This one's meta episode 8. So right now, chats, we are being presented that we want to spend the night with a friend that wants to do the deed with me. You like that person, but you don't want to have do it with them. Now remember, guys, you don't have to use him or her. You can just use them. So let's go ahead and mark that out. Just put that. But before you complete this worksheet, think of several alternative activities you could identify and negotiate. Now, definitely, chat, we're writing down volleyball, and definitely we're gonna play video games. That's what I haven't mastered my volleyball skills for a while. Definitely, they probably gonna be good at that game, so I'm definitely gonna need their help. Let's keep on going though, because I keep on doing it. So pressure line eight. The friend of me is saying, "Come to my house for a sleepover. I'd really like for us to get closer, if you know what I mean." Okay, quote unquote, quote unquote. How I would respond to this is that this one really depends. All right, I don't know what type of context. They could be completely joking into me in terms of the context, or they could be mean something else entirely. So this one really generally pressure line A. This one generally kind of depends. So what I would say to this is that I would ask WDYM. What do you mean? That's the first thing that I'm gonna say right there. So pressure line B. I think we are ready to take the relationship to the next level, quote unquote. I think what I would say to this one I would also say for in terms of nuance, I would say, what do you mean? Like, do you want to play more volleyball instead of like playing like gaming 2 hours? I want to play like 8 hours now. This one, chat, really depends. I don't know exactly what you're trying to say, but I definitely say just like answer one, we'll put what do you mean. This one also says pressure line C. Come on, you know how attracted I am to you, quote unquote. This one also really depends on the context. I would say, what do you mean to? Is that it really, really depends. What do you mean? Do you want to do more volleyball? Do you want to play more games? It really depends. Alright, but you'll be totally safe with me, whatever you do. This one is also ambiguous, chat. I know my nuanced answers are not saying to the pressure situation one, but we're just answering in terms of ambiguity. Alright, we're just answering in terms of that. We're not covering according to this, we're just according if someone's just saying to this randomly speaking. But totally safe with me, whatever we do. This one also depends again. I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but it's just really like what do you mean? What do you mean again? My answer again is what do you mean? Pressure line E is no one will know. I'd also say, in terms of this is probably speaking about this one now, talking about it. What I would say to this is that, no, we can, or why am I writing this? It's not gonna only. Wait. No, only after marriage. Uh, but things. Oh wait. But what would I say? I would say no only after marriage, but we don't want to face risks. No. I would say porque. Oh no, there's no. Wait. It's not porque. I'm just getting my Spanish confused now. Because. Hold on. Because we face risk. Oh wait, no, I keep saying. I was about to say para. That means for risk of pregnancy and the issue is too early. That's what I would say right there. Way too early. We're gonna go ahead and erase the heck out of this real quick. Oh my god. Ugh. Aha. Let's leave it better. Mind your own pressure line here. What I would say to this one's probably, I'm just probably gonna imagine another thing that they're probably going to say is that we'll just say we can do it after after hold on, can do it after and put a little bit alright, I think that should do it. As I said, I do want to erase this because we're not in this unit yet. But I just want to cover this one right here, chat. Because such an issue, the reason I'm making this video at all, generally speaking, is that such an issue is already highly controversial within the internet. Especially, I'm going to cover pressure situation 2 next time. But saying this is because such an issue is highly contentious. Not talking about like pressure situation. This one counts toward meta episode 1. Meta EP. This one should be 8. So I should do it. Now, why I'm saying this, chat, is that let me go ahead and this is like really confusing. I can, Let me go ahead and head back to the content. I'm heading back to the contents. This one, I believe this was 26 through 27. Oh yeah, it was 39. 39. Uh, the whole aha, this one right here. The reason I'm making this video at all, chat, is because of this one little thing right here. We're gonna head back and jump cut this. We're gonna go ahead. Welcome back, y'all. Hold on a minute. Back, y'all. Hold on a minute. Okay, chat. The reason I'm mentioning this is because why I mean pull up my PC again, but it's in the keyboard. Why is the issue of gender identity, especially when presented in a high school environment, try, uh, highly debated on the internet? How so? Do how? What complex beliefs? Let's go and put that there. Excellent follow up. Let's get clear and precise. Hold on a minute. This is doing it right. Hold on. Is saying right here. The issue of gender identity in high schools becomes highly debated on the internet when it sits at the intersection of multiple complex beliefs that clash hard when applied to a teenagers. Here's how and why. Some teenagers are still forming their identities, introducing complex ideas about gender identity too soon could confuse them into pressure and adopting beliefs prematurely. Other teens argue that they are capable enough of exploring gender identity and that early affirmation can reduce risks. Some conservatives argue parents that the ultimate way to say that their child learns should to affirm oh my god, am I so serious right now, bro? Some conservatives argue that parents should have the ultimate say in what their child learns, whether schools should affirm a child's gender identity or whatever the parent believes. Others argue that student rights and privacy should take priority, especially for teens who may not feel safe coming from home. For many conservatives and moderates, biological sex is seen as an objective from scientific reality that should anchor policy and teaching. Progressives and theorists argue that gender identity is distinct from biological sex and is just as valid, citing psychology and lived experience as key evidence. This clash over what counts as real or truthful ends in ruthless internet arguments, beliefs about influence versus representation. Critics argue that exposing teens to discussions about gender diversity will encourage or influence them to identify as non binary or trans when otherwise they would not. Advocates, on the other hand, argue visibility and education simply reflect reality and give marginalized students the chance and support that they need. Beliefs about morality and cultural change. Some see gender diversity as teachings that come from a moral. Bro, hold on a minute. Let's make sure this is right.
see gender and diversity teaching as part of a broader moral decay or rejection of traditionalist values. Others see the recognizing diversity as a moral obligation to be inclusive and equitable within a pluralistic society. Internet dynamics and why online fights are so dang explosive. Echo chambers such as Reddit, my fellow Redditors, Twitter, I think you call that X now, YouTube, of course, TikTok, and amplify extreme voices. Viral anecdotes or misinformation like exaggerated school policies spread quickly and make issues that seem more dramatic and widespread they are. Memes and soundbites oversimplify the topic, leading to caricatures and bad faith arguments. In short, this is debated so fiercely because its the core identities about belief, authority, morality, protection, and youth collide because the stakes are personal to literally everyone alike. No, I'm going to put no, but thank you for the info. No, but thank you for the info. Alrighty. Alright, that I think this is it for the video chat. I might make a part 2 to this if I don't get enough Polaroids. Hold on a minute. Let me go ahead and put this I might do a part 2 to this chat, and I will definitely let you guys know about this. And remember chat, this video is not meant in a way to disrespect anyone who's trans or male or female. Not a way to disrespect. It's just to raise more awareness about such a highly debated and contentious issue. But other than that, y'all, make sure to like and subscribe. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say this in this video or not, but other than that, y'all, I'll see you guys in